when Madonna disguised herself as street performer Maria Stone and performed outside her own Madison Square Garden concerts for 3 nights. She earned only $412, while 20,000 fans per night paid $300+ to see her inside. They complimented her Madonna covers and said she sounded almost like the real thing before rushing in to see what they thought was the authentic performance. The revelation video would spark the biggest conversation about celebrity culture in modern history. It was September 2023, and Madonna was preparing for 3 sold-out nights at Madison Square Garden as part of her celebration tour. But as she reviewed ticket sales and social media buzz, a question kept nagging at her. Did people love her music? Or did they love the idea of seeing Madonna? This question had been building for years as she watched fans at her concerts spending more time filming on their phones than actually watching the performance. She'd see thousands of people singing along to songs while simultaneously trying to capture the perfect Instagram story. One night, during a conversation with her longtime friend and collaborator, she posed the question aloud. If I stood outside my own concert and sang these same songs, would anyone even notice? That question became the genesis of the most elaborate social experiment in music history. Madonna spent 2 weeks meticulously creating a new identity. Working with a team of makeup artists, costume designers, and acting coaches, she developed Maria Stone, a 50-something struggling street musician trying to make ends meet. The transformation was remarkable. Prosthetic makeup added wrinkles and changed the shape of her face. A wig of gray-streaked brown hair replaced her signature blonde. Colored contact lenses changed her distinctive eyes. Padding altered her body shape, and carefully chosen thrift store clothing completed the illusion. But the physical transformation was only part of it. Madonna worked with a vocal coach to slightly alter her speaking voice and singing style, adding a rougher edge that suggested years of hard living rather than professional vocal training. She practiced performing her own songs as if she were a cover artist who'd learned them from recordings, occasionally making deliberate small mistakes that a street performer might make. The goal was to be good enough to attract attention, but not so polished that she seemed professional. I wanted to be invisible, Madonna explained later. Not because I'm a bad performer as Maria, but because people weren't really looking at the music. They were looking for the spectacle. For 3 consecutive nights, September 15th, 16th, and 17th, Madonna arrived at Madison Square Garden 4 hours before her scheduled performances. As Maria Stone, she set up a small performance space on the corner of 33rd Street and 7th Avenue, directly across from the arena's main entrance. She had an old acoustic guitar, a worn keyboard, a small amplifier powered by a portable battery, and a guitar case open for donations. A handwritten cardboard sign read, "Maria Stone, playing for tips, all requests welcome." Her security team, dressed as regular pedestrians, monitored from a distance with hidden cameras to document the experiment. They had strict instructions not to interfere unless Madonna's safety was genuinely threatened. The irony was perfect. Thousands of fans were about to walk directly past Madonna to pay hundreds of dollars to see Madonna. The first night, Madonna started performing at 4 p.m., 3 hours before the show. As early arrivals began gathering, she launched into an acoustic version of Like a Prayer. Her performance was beautiful, stripped down, but emotionally powerful. Yet for the first 30 minutes, not a single person stopped. Hundreds of fans walked past, many chatting excitedly about seeing Madonna, some literally stepping over her guitar case without a glance. Finally, a middle-aged woman paused and dropped $1 in the case. "That was really good," she said. "You sound just like her." "Thank you," Madonna replied in Maria's slightly gravelly voice. "I've been practicing." "Well, keep it up. Maybe someday you'll be as famous as the real Madonna," the woman said cheerfully, before hurrying toward the arena entrance.
Madonna had to suppress a smile at the irony. As the evening progressed and more fans arrived, Madonna, as Maria Stone, performed acoustic versions of Vogue, Material Girl, Express Yourself, and Like a Virgin. The reactions were remarkably consistent and revealing. Some fans stopped briefly, smiled politely, and tossed a few dollars in the case before moving on. Others paused long enough to say, "Nice cover," or "You should audition for one of those singing competition shows." One group of young women took a selfie with Maria Stone in the background, treating her as part of the New York City street performer atmosphere, rather than as a serious artist worthy of attention. A teenage boy told her, "You're pretty good, but you're no Madonna," before laughing with his friends and heading inside. Perhaps most tellingly, several people offered Maria unsolicited career advice. "You've got talent, but you need to write your own songs," one man said. "Cover artists never make it big." Another woman suggested, "Have you considered getting on social media? That's how people get discovered these days." In 3 hours of performing outside her own concert, Madonna earned $127 in tips. Inside, that same night's show grossed over $6 million. Emboldened by the first night's results, Madonna decided to push the experiment further on night 2. She performed the same songs, but added more interaction with passers-by. When fans complimented her covers, she engaged them in conversation about music and artistry. "What do you think makes Madonna's version better than mine?" she asked one group. "Well, she's Madonna," they replied, as if that explained everything. "Plus, the real version has all the production, the dancers, the whole experience." "But if you close your eyes and just listen to the music," Maria pressed, "is there a difference?" The group seemed confused by the question. "I mean, yeah, obviously. One is Madonna and one is a street performer." This response fascinated Madonna. Even when the music itself was essentially identical, the context and presentation created a perceived difference in value. Another exchange was particularly revealing. A young woman stopped to listen to Maria's version of Like a Prayer and was visibly moved by it. "That was beautiful," she said, tears in her eyes. "You really captured the emotion." "Thank you," Madonna replied. "Why do you think it moved you?" "I don't know. Maybe because it feels more real. Like inside there's going to be dancers and lights and everything, but this feels more authentic somehow." "So why are you going inside instead of staying here?" "Because I paid $400 for a ticket. And also because, well, it's Madonna. It's the experience of being there, you know?" This honest response captured the heart of what Madonna was exploring. The music itself had moved this woman, but the cultural significance of seeing Madonna in concert outweighed even genuine artistic connection. Night 2 earnings, $168. On the final night, something different happened. While most fans continued to rush past Maria Stone without recognition, a handful of people stopped and truly listened. An elderly man sat on the sidewalk for nearly 30 minutes, eyes closed, absorbing Maria's performance of Live to Tell. When the song ended, he approached and put $50 in the guitar case, far more than anyone else had donated. "Thank you," Madonna said, genuinely touched. "That's very generous." "You reminded me why I fell in love with this song 40 years ago," he said. "It's not about the spectacle, it's about the message. Thank you for that." A young musician stopped with his own guitar and asked if he could play along. For 15 minutes, Madonna and this stranger created impromptu harmonies on Crazy for You, and it was one of the purest musical moments she'd experienced in years. "This is what music should be," the young man said afterward. "Just people connecting through sound. No egos, no image, just the art." A woman in her 30s stood listening for over an hour, missing the start of the concert inside.
When Madonna asked her why she wasn't going in, she said, "Because this feels more real than anything happening in there. I've seen Madonna in concert before. It was amazing, but it was also overwhelming. This is just beautiful music, and that's enough." These few genuine connections reminded Madonna why she'd started making music in the first place, not for the spectacle, but for the human connection that art could create. Night 3 earnings, $117. Unknown to the casual observers, a documentary crew had been filming the entire experiment from hidden positions. They captured not just Madonna's performances, but the reactions, the conversations, and most tellingly, the thousands of people who walked past without a second glance. The footage was both hilarious and sobering. Fans wearing Madonna merchandise walked past Madonna. People singing Madonna songs walked past Madonna. Some fans were literally discussing their excitement about seeing Madonna while stepping over Madonna's guitar case. The cameras also caught the few beautiful moments. The elderly man who truly listened. The young musician who jammed with her. The woman who skipped the concert because the street performance felt more authentic. 1 week after the final performance, Madonna released a 30-minute video titled "Maria Stone Was Me, a Social Experiment in Celebrity Culture." The video opened with Madonna as herself, sitting in a simple chair against a white background. "Hi, I'm Maria Stone. Actually, I'm Madonna. And for the past 3 nights, you've been walking past me to see me." What followed was the footage from all 3 nights, edited together to show the full scope of the experiment. The video showed Madonna's transformation, her performances, and most impactingly, the reactions from thousands of fans. The reveal was structured to build slowly, showing more and more evidence that Maria Stone and Madonna were the same person, before finally showing the side-by-side transformation footage that made the truth undeniable. The video went viral within hours. Within 24 hours, it had been viewed over 100 million times. Within a week, it became the most watched music-related content in internet history, surpassing even the biggest music video releases. The hashtag Maria Stone trended globally for days. Reactions ranged from shock to embarrassment to deep philosophical discussions about art, celebrity, and authenticity. Many fans who had walked past Madonna posted their own videos of the moment, adding captions like, "I can't believe I told Madonna she should audition for a singing competition," or "I walked past Madonna to see Madonna. I will never live this down." The woman who had advised Maria to get on social media became a viral meme. She told Madonna to get on social media. Madonna, the Madonna, the woman who basically invented social media celebrity culture. But beyond the embarrassment and memes, the video sparked serious conversations about how we consume art in the modern era. Think pieces appeared in major publications analyzing what the experiment revealed about society's relationship with celebrity. Art critics discussed the difference between art and the experience of art. Sociologists examined how much of our appreciation for art is actually appreciation for being part of a cultural moment. "Madonna's experiment revealed something uncomfortable," wrote one cultural critic. "We claim to love music, but what we really love is the social currency that comes from seeing famous musicians. The actual music is almost secondary." Musicians around the world began conducting their own experiments with varying results. Some found similar patterns of being ignored by their own fans when performing incognito. The experiment had real-world effects on how the music industry approached artist-fan relationships. Concert promoters began creating intimate pre-show experiences where artists could perform stripped-down versions of their songs. Music streaming services created acoustic sessions playlists. More importantly, attitudes towards street performers shifted dramatically. Many fans who had walked past Maria Stone reported feeling newfound respect for buskers and street musicians, recognizing that talent exists independent of fame. Cities reported increases in tips for street performers following the video's release. Several musicians who had been busking for years suddenly found themselves receiving recognition and opportunities after fans realized they'd been walking past genuine talent. Madonna's Maria Stone experiment became more than just a viral moment. It became a cultural touchstone that challenged people to think about how they consume art and why. The documentary footage was later expanded into a full-length film exploring the philosophy behind the experiment, featuring interviews with fans, psychologists, cultural critics, and other musicians. Madonna herself said the experiment changed how she approached her own artistry. She realized that I'd become complicit in the spectacle overshadowing the substance. Maria Stone reminded me that the music should always come first. Perhaps the most beautiful part of the story belonged to the few people who had genuinely connected with Maria Stone's performances without knowing her true identity. Madonna personally reached out to the elderly man who had donated $50, the young musician who had jammed with her, and the woman who had skipped the concert to keep listening. She invited them to a private acoustic concert where she performed as herself, but with the same stripped-down intimacy of the street performances. "You saw past the fame to the music," she told them. "That's the greatest compliment any artist can receive." Madonna's Maria Stone experiment proved that in an age of celebrity worship, authentic artistic connection requires effort and presence. The thousands who walked past her weren't bad people or shallow fans. They were simply caught up in a cultural system that values spectacle over substance.
But the experiment also proved something beautiful. When we slow down and truly listen, music can still create powerful human connections, regardless of the performer's fame or the venue's prestige. The woman who had earned $412 playing on a street corner was the same woman who had earned $18 million playing inside the arena. The only difference was context. The music, the talent, the artistic expression, those remained constant. Madonna's message was clear. Art has value independent of celebrity, but we have to be willing to notice it. If this incredible story about celebrity culture and authentic artistry moved you, make sure to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. Share this video with anyone who needs to think about how they consume art and music. Have you ever walked past something beautiful because you weren't looking for it? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to ring that notification bell for more amazing stories about the truth behind fame and the power of authentic artistic connection.